Welcome back to another Minisode of Starting Your Day with a Creative. On today's Minisode, we have Erica Mattson here, and she's an amazing consultant, coach, advisor, practicing artist, a mother of two, and we just released her episode last week, delving into all her beautiful insights about her creative practice, her multifaceted business, and today we're going to delve into her routine a bit more. Hi, Erica.
Hi, Betty.
So I just have a couple questions for you in terms of your weekly or daily routine. Are you ready to play?
Yes, I'm ready to play.
Okay, so what's a typical work week look like? And every time I ask this, I always say in bracket, if there's no typical work week, tell us what's the next week or the ideal week look like.
Yeah, I've recently, as a result of our beautiful work together, you as my coach, I recently completely restructured my week. So I now have Mondays and Fridays are completely reserved for myself, my own work, my flow work, if I'm working on client projects. Sometimes I found that my kids are often not at school on Mondays and Fridays because of holidays or professional development days or all manner of not being at school days. So it's also a way for me not to have to battle that demon of stress. So that has been amazing. And then, so Tuesdays and Thursdays, I work pretty hard. Those are my client days, and I do sessions. I help people with strategy and planning on those days. So usually they're quite long and intense in a good way. And then Wednesdays are kind of like a flex day. I kind of think of them as like my little lily pad in the middle of the week if I need a bit of space. Sometimes my daughter has a medical condition, so sometimes we have appointments on Wednesdays. So that is like a bit of a reset. So I'm eternally grateful for you for helping me kind of tame the chaos that was before. This way is working a lot better.
I love that, and I'm so glad to hear that that's working for you, and that spaciousness that you crave. And I think we talk about during our work together that sometimes we just need wander time, and the Monday and Fridays is the perfect space. It sounds like in your schedule to do that. Yeah,
It's amazing for that.
and then reserve for anything that comes up, like in your personal life as well. So, how do you like to start your workday?
Yeah, so my work day, I always say that my work as a parent is work. So my work day begins very early in the morning at like 5:30, and I do my stuff with my kids. We do our cuddles, we do our coffee, we do our whatever cool things they're up to. After that portion of my work day, I'm kind of tired and maybe it's a little frazzled because kids are very frazzling sometimes. So I usually, before I start, I do some sort of reset thing before I get into my work. Sometimes it is just cleaning the counter off of all the toast crumbs and stuff like that. I also love the mornings when I have time for a long walk before I start working with clients or working on projects. So I can drop my kids off at school, and I have showed you my walk, some of my beautiful walk. I live near,
Yes.
and I can walk up a nice big hill into a Gary Oak meadow and then walk down by the ocean and go on the beach. And so that is the best, to have some walking time and some podcast time, and then I'm totally ready to take on the world after that.
I love that. I mean, not to get the audience jealous, but I did get this beautiful video from you. It literally looked like, I don't know, somewhere from a fairy tale or something.
Yes.
And with the waves of the water and the nature, and I love that nature is so ingrained in your mindset and in your actual surrounding, the work. Yeah. How do you like to end your workday?
Yeah, I also like to end it in kind of the same way, right? So I do have a very clear beginning and end to my workday because I have these children that need to be picked up and dropped off and all that sort of stuff.
Yes.
A little walk back, again, to get my steps in because I spend a lot of time sitting around on the computer, and just pick up my kids, and then I'm good to go. And I don't usually work in the night or anything like that. I'm kind of done with that. Sometimes I do art stuff, of course, but yeah, I just walk, pick up my kids, and then we get going with whatever's going on, whether it's, I don't know, watching a show or going to basketball practice or whatever's going on.
And an additional question there, what time usually is that in the afternoon, right?
Yeah, in the afternoon. So I'm finally have both of my kids at the same place, the same school. We got into the after school program this year, so they're at school until like 4 o'clock. Maybe
Hmm.
they'll keep them till 5:30, which is amazing if something's running over. But yeah, so I feel like for the first time in definitely the whole history of my business, I have a full work day, which has been amazing, right? Like to kind of be able to work from 9 or 10 until 4 is, yeah, it's pretty
That's
great.
nice, like full
Yeah.
some, especially now that you kind of carve out Tuesday and Thursday. That's your
Yeah.
like full force working day. Yeah. What's your favorite way to get into the creative zone?
Yeah, I just need to start doing something. So definitely walking or being outside in nature. I am so lucky to have my own little garden in where I live, and so if I can do some sort of weeding or digging or walking around with the plants, even just sometimes I take my compost out to the compost bin and stir it around and look at the worms. Something little nature fix like that gets
Mm,
me into out of my ticker tape brain where I'm thinking about all my tasks and busyness and into something that feels a bit more grounded.
yeah, literally being in touch with the ground, being in touch with the nature. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, it really works.
it really works. Yeah. What's one item that you always have on your work desk?
Oh yeah, I always have here. I'll show you one of my plant babies. So I am a plant person. So there's one plant baby. So I always
Yeah.
have plants on my desk. Oh, and I usually have my kids will always bring me like little gifts.
So
So it's
cute.
like things that they've made. Like this says, I don't know if you can see it, but I always have all these like beautiful things from my kids. They bring me gifts. Sometimes,
Beautiful card. Yeah.
if I talk about, sometimes we'll talk about our days, and I'll be like, oh, all I did was sit on the computer and have meetings. It's pretty boring. And they're like, Mom, do you need something to do? And they've brought me little mazes that I can draw on if I get bored during a meeting or Lego to play with or something. So there's always some
Wow,
sort
your kids are so cute and endearing. It's like, oh, here, mom, do some activity.
Yeah, I know. One time I kept for a long time on my desk a little coin, like a dollar, a loonie. One time when my son was younger, he was homesick from school, and so I couldn't work that day, but we did a few things together. We did invoicing and stuff like that. And we were talking about when mom doesn't work during a day, mom doesn't really make any money. So he brought me this dollar to be like, Mom, I just wanted to give you this dollar because I know you didn't work today. So I wanted to help. And I was like, oh my God, it was so sweet, so lovely.
Oh
Good
my
kid.
God, that's the cutest. This got to be, well, it's hard to be for the future guests, but that's so far the cutest anecdote. From from a child to appreciate someone, their parents' independent practice and business.
Totally, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
my son is like incredibly entrepreneurial. Oh my goodness, he can
he
make
really
money.
understands the inflow and the outflow of the
He
income.
totally does. Quite like
I
the
love it. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Erica, for sharing your routines and those fun anecdotes from your life with us.
Thanks, Betty.